Kat turned and found that Alexander was already looking at her. He had 2 elegant, long-stemmed glasses in his hand. Champagne. Kat took a step back and scanned the room. Where had he got those from all of a sudden? Had this room already been prepped, just waiting for whoever he chose to bring up here? She was about to protest when music started to play in the background. Something classical, she wasn't sure what it was. Now, where was the music coming from? She hadn't seen a stereo or even speakers anywhere. They'd looked so out of place with all of this Regency furniture that she was certain she would have noticed them on her way in. Before she knew it, she'd accepted the champagne flute. "To great art and great beauty," Alexander said, and raised his glass for a toast. She followed his example, even though her heart was hammering in her throat now. "To art," she mumbled. "What's going on here? None of this makes any sense. Was that first drink spiked?" Against better judgment, she took her first sip and felt her worries dissipate. So what if he was plying her with drinks? So what if she was alone with a stranger in this luxurious bedroom? She glanced at the painting again. Was all worth it, wasn't it? She took another sip and felt her confidence grow. Who cares if he brought me up here to seduce me? This is the sort of thing that happens to Shelley, not me. If this is what it feels like to be coveted, I'll take it. He took the glass from her and placed it on the lacquered wooden cabinet facing the bed. Then he held out his hand. "Would you honor me with this dance?" he all but whispered. Kat bit her lip. This entire scenario was absurd. Being in here with this man in this room, and now he wanted to dance with her. And yet... She placed her hand in his, and he started to lead immediately. Kat wasn't much of a dancer, and she certainly wasn't familiar with ballroom steps. Still, she found herself moving effortlessly. Her feet seemed to know what to do as the two of them started to circle around the room. She wrapped her arm around his neck just as his hand rested in the small of her back. They started off touching only lightly, but after a few steps, she found herself firmly in his grasp. It didn't occur to her anymore to question what was going on. This was amazing. She felt like Cinderella dancing through her very own fairy tale. Did that mean Alexander was her Prince Charming? No, that would be ridiculous. This was just a fling at a Halloween party, nothing less and nothing more. She gazed up at him, at those deep black eyes which somehow managed to convey more emotion than any other guy she'd ever been with. How she wished she could see the rest of his face. She let her gaze travel downward to the part of his face that wasn't obscured. Full lips, slightly parted to reveal perfectly white teeth. His pale skin was smooth, flawless, without the slightest hint of stubble or even a razor burn. Did rich people have ways and means to skip the inconveniences normal guys often had to deal with? Perhaps he was wearing some kind of makeup. He asked her questions about her family, where she was from. She did her best to answer as she observed his every move. Even his scent was unique. Sweeter, cleaner than other guys. Not that Kat thought regular guys were dirty. Alexander was just different somehow, in a way she couldn't make sense of. She wasn't sure how long they'd been dancing for when the music stopped, as did the two of them. But they didn't let go. If anything, Kat thought she could feel his arm tighten around her. Similarly, she clung onto his neck and stared into his eyes. This was the moment of truth. Now she would find out what else tonight would bring.